lock cylinder is out here, and as you recall, the side bar has been drilled out of that cylinder. Underneath that tab, basically everything's been chewed up by a drill bit coming down and just taking that thing out. And we've got our new cylinder out here. And this is easily one of the most difficult things in automotive locksmithing, to install an active retainer Ford lock cylinder into a Ford ignition. It's just breathtakingly hard. It's something that is going to exhaust you. First you have to insert the key, then you have to turn the key all the way to the accessory position, if I recall, on this one. And you have to turn this to the point where this pin will actually, there's your active retainer, will actually retract in. So once again, I had to turn this all the way over just so that little pin would drop down. And this is crucial. You have to set that pin downwards, the same position as before, and into that little track right there. And even though it completely fits in, and there's really only one right way to do it, it's just ridiculously hard. And then you have to actually shove the cylinder all the way in, and then turn it back to the lock position. As you can see, it's extremely hard. And just to get that key working there, and as you can see, that installation just completely wore me out. And all joking aside, it's extremely simple to install that cylinder there. I just basically made sure that there was no metal particles inside of where I took the last cylinder out, and just popped it in. It's on a spring retainer, just really great system. And of course, if this had battery in it, it would be starting up. But of course, we're going to test this out. I think the steering wheel lock's been broken on this thing for a while, but at that point we would be testing the steering wheel lock, and testing the function, making sure it starts and everything. But it's good to go. So anyway, once again, in order to remove one of these ignitions, an ice pick tool is definitely your best friend. Fords usually put a nice little hole right down in here for you to find the cylinder. Now you notice the angle on this thing. It's like if I was Superman, I'd be stabbing all the way through the lock cylinder here. But just straight ahead, there's a little hole. Once you find this hole, you're not going to be able to move this thing an eighth of an inch in any direction here. And then just keep putting pressure on it, and as you turn, you're going to feel that ice pick. It's tough to do with 2 hands. You're going to feel the ice pick jump in, and it just did. At that point, all you need is a hand to pull that lock out. Obviously, I've got one hand on the camera here, but the cylinder just jumps right out. This is a really, really handy thing to have in an emergency where somebody has lost their keys and they just simply want to replace the cylinder. It's the way to go. Anyway, that's pretty much it for our Ford 250 diesel here. And once again, we don't have a transponder in here, but if we did, we'd go through the whole programming process. Other than that, we're good to go. We're going to give our customer his keys. We've got 2 keys for the ignition, 1 key for the door, and 1 key for the tailgate, because this has been a Frankenstein truck right here. We got a job well done, and if the engine was on, we'd hear it crank over.